Now on YTV we take the ITN news from London at exactly 6:32.
Europe's golfers are celebrating an historic victory over America in the Ryder Cup. It's the first time in 28 years that America's lost the trophy, and only the fourth time since the contest began in 1927 that they have been beaten. Europe won this afternoon at the Belfry in Sutton Coldfield by 16.5 points to 11.5. Europe's team captain Tony Jacklin called it a day he'll never forget.
Once again, it was the Spaniards who set the pace. Manuel Pinheiro picking up his fourth victory in 5 matches as Jacklin embraced his first winner of the day. Behind him, Bernhard Langer needed only 14 holes to take the next. A brilliant tee shot left him with a 2-foot putt. And the US Masters champion had mastered another American. Now the Europeans were fast turning into easy riders as the victory shots became more and more spectacular. Sandy Lyle, putting like a true Open champion, made it 3 wins out of 4. Ray Floyd summed up the Americans' flagging fortunes as he sank without trace at the 18th. The veteran of the US team conceded 20 years in age and the match to young Paul Way. The incredible Ballesteros then wiped out a 3-hole deficit in the last 4 to snatch a vital half. Jacklin's team was now just 1 point from making history as Sam Torrance stepped onto the final green, choking back tears of triumph and emotion. He knew he had 3 shots in hand to win. He needed only 1. Europe had taken 5.5 points from the first 7 matches.
Unbelievable.
For the captain, all the pressure suddenly turned into pleasure, and Concord, another European triumph, saluted golf's high flyers as the Ryder Cup came home. Jeremy Thompson, ITN Sport at the Belfry.
Mrs. Thatcher and the Foreign Secretary, Sir Geoffrey Howe, have been discussing by telephone what to do about Moscow's tit-for-tat expulsion yesterday of 25 Britons. Sir Geoffrey's also been in touch with his advisers at the Foreign Office. It's thought Britain may now order out more Russians, and the decision will come before Mrs. Thatcher leaves for her Middle East tour tomorrow afternoon. A Scottish trade delegation left for Moscow today without the Scottish Secretary, Mr. George Younger.
The Scottish businessmen turned up at Heathrow undeterred by the diplomatic rumpus. The leader of the delegation, Lord Clydesmuir, said all the industrialists had been contacted within the last 24 hours and had agreed to go ahead with the trip. He said Mr. Younger's reasons for pulling out were understandable. Lord Clydesmuir accepted it was a difficult time for a trade visit, but didn't think the expulsions would cast a shadow over it.
I'm hoping not, because I've been to the Soviet Union a good number of times, and the trade side of things are usually divorced from politics.
Have you been in touch with the Soviet embassy in the last few days?
Yes, we had considerable contacts yesterday, and as far as we can see, the coast is clear.
Do you think the Russians have one attitude as far as spying is concerned and another one as far as trade's concerned?
Yes, I do, really, because I have been there when an incident occurred, and the trade side of it went on just as if nothing had happened.
Moscow needs the heavy engineering plant made by the Scottish firms and apparently doesn't want to jeopardize contracts because of a diplomatic rift. John Draper, ITN, Heathrow.
Holidaymakers and police in Great Yarmouth joined forces this weekend to search for a toddler, Leonie Keating, who disappeared from a holiday caravan site 2 days ago. The 3-year-old from West London, dressed in blue pajamas, slipped out of a caravan while her mother was out. Today, posters were pinned up around the site asking anyone who may have seen the little girl to come forward. Detectives have already stepped up their search around the town, and today a police helicopter combed the area. Israel has protested strongly about a British arms deal with Saudi Arabia thought to be worth £3 billion. The Ministry of Defense has confirmed that a deal has been agreed in principle. It's believed it involves the sale to Saudi Arabia of 48 Tornado fighters and 30 Hawk trainers. Israel says the planes will escalate the arms race in the Middle East and undermine the stability of the region. The Liberal leader, Mr. David Steele, insisted today that his party is ready for government, but he's admitted he wants the SDP to provide any expertise the Liberals might lack. Mr. Steele was speaking before this week's Liberal Party conference in Dundee. Motor racing now. Brazil's Ayrton Senna has won the Belgian Grand Prix. His Lotus overcame the wet conditions and led for most of the race to give him his second Grand Prix win of the year. Britain's Nigel Mansell never managed to close the gap. Senna's win takes him to third place in the Drivers' Championship, but still a long way behind the championship leader, Alain Prost. And in London, Steve Ovett has beaten Steve Cram for the first time in 4 years. It was in today's Peugeot Talbot Westminster Mile.
Here comes Steve Cram, he's left it very late indeed. What a finish this is going to be between two of the greatest British athletes of all time. And it looks as though it's Steve Ovett who's got it. Cram looks over his shoulder, he's surely second for second place now. And Steve Ovett, who's had such a disappointing season, returns in style.
And some cricket news just in. Essex have won the John Player Special League, beating Yorkshire this afternoon by 2 wickets with just 1 ball to spare. And finally, Prince Andrew's efforts as official royal photographer were given the thumbs down today by the experts. Prince Andrew's pictures were released this morning to mark the first birthday of Prince Harry. This picture was criticised for the ropes cutting across Prince Harry's face. Another critic said this picture is dominated by the bucket. And one paper carried the comment that in future, Prince Andrew should use a camera with automatic focus. But in his defence, Buckingham Palace did say they were just family snapshots. We're back at 9:30.